Could there possibly be a more fake, phony, unauthentic politician on the planet than Gavin Newsom? Yeah, no. Hey, I'm Pastor Marty. Welcome to the Afternoon Drive. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and once you are, smack the bell, click the word all. That'll give you notification of my rants, my ravings, my undeniably flawless reasonings. Hey, please like and share this video. That's the way that we get the word out that we're here. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of the Afternoon Drive. So, Gavin Newsom wants to take on Joe Rogan. I mean, not just in debate, he literally wants to take him on. Yeah, Joe Rogan, the guy who's not only the #1 podcaster influencer on the planet, but the guy who literally got his start and is still involved in the whole concept of mixed martial arts, and call it cage fighting, call it whatever you want. Gavin, you know, Kendall hair Gavin with the hands, Gavin who sits and crosses his legs like he's in transition, Newsom, wants to take on Joe Rogan. Yeah, okay.
Well, yes. You start with Joe Rogan, so I'm going to start cursing.
He wants to be president so bad.
The governor of the most populous state and the host of one of the most popular podcasts are feuding.
This is Gavin Newsom.
California Governor Gavin Newsom, who hosts his own podcast, has invited Joe Rogan onto his show and publicly asked to be invited onto Rogan's show.
Joe, why won't you have me on the show? He won't have me on the show. It's a one way. And he has guests coming and attacking and bashing, but he will not have me on the show.
So Gavin's got a podcast, and he was begging Joe Rogan, come on my podcast and then have me on yours. He wants Joe's audience. He knows that literally millions upon millions of people watched his interviews with Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Over 60 million alone watched the Donald Trump interview with Joe Rogan. And he wants that audience. And of course, Joe's not giving it to him. And Joe is absolutely right. You don't take a guy who's failed at everything and say, okay, he learned from all of his mistakes, failing at absolutely everything. Now let's give him the country. So what does Gavin think is the best way to connect with Joe and again help the Democrats re-engage with male members of society whom they have dumped on, crapped on, and made absolutely the blame for every ill on the planet, all somehow a man's fault? Well, he turns to insulting, threatening, and challenging. And how does Rogan take it?
Rogan doesn't seem impressed by a potential Newsom presidential run in 2028.
You can't ruin a city and then go on to ruin a state and say, guys, that was just practice.
I know.
Once I get it as a president, I'm going to fix it. Fix it all.
I mean, it's so crazy, but he's such a great politician. I mean,
no,
he's so smooth.
He's
you
not,
don't think so?
No, I think he's terrible.
Rogan attacking Newsom's job performance in California.
You have the highest unemployment.
Yeah.
You have the highest homelessness.
Look what they did with Hollywood.
Money's missing. You killed Hollywood. Like, Hollywood doesn't exist anymore. It's literally gone.
Newsom responding to Rogan on X, posting California is the 4th largest economy in the world, but #1 in manufacturing, farming, new business starts, tech and VC investments, Fortune 500 companies, public higher education. I could continue. Invite me on anytime, Joe Rogan.
It was all that before you were there. It was all that forever. It's because the weather's perfect, man. It has nothing to do with you.
Newsom's team posting this photo on X, writing that, quote, little Joe is snack size because he can't handle full-size debates.
I'm not afraid to go. I'm punching Joe Rogan, okay? That son of a bitch not used to that. And he's going to dismiss it. He's going to laugh it off. I mean, tough guy, all that. But he's going to have me on.
I promise you, Joe Rogan isn't losing one moment's sleep at night worrying about what Gavin Newsom is saying about him, thinking about him, or what it might mean if I don't have him on. What could that possibly do? Because he gets Joe Rogan, or I'm sorry, he gets Gavin Newsom, lived under Gavin Newsom when he was governor of California, and he was still a resident there, and he fled for a red state where they actually know how to run the economy. That all said, Gavin Newsom is your typical politician in that he will lie without consciousness. He's getting ready now to release his book, his tell-all about himself. He was going to introduce himself to America. Yeah, but he's not running for president. And in it, he's like a Kamala. He's going to lie and tell you that, why, he grew up poor. You know, kind of like AOC. We find out, you know, that she lived in an incredibly wealthy suburb of New York City. Like Jasmine Crotchmouth, who went to, you know, $30,000 and $40,000 a year private high schools as a kid. Didn't grow up in the ghetto. So now Gavin Newsom, it's his turn. Because after all, the one thing you have to say about Gavin Newsom, there's absolutely nothing original about the guy. He is so completely unauthentic, he even copies what other Democrats do. It's just monkey see, monkey do with him, hoping that somehow, some way, he can con you into voting for him. So he's going to try to convince you now that, well, he grew up poor.
But truly, I've got a book that I'm putting out next year, early next year, that I've been working on for 4 or 5 years because I can't take the perception of me versus the reality of what I experienced growing up and in my own childhood and my own experiences. So I'm trying to shapeshift that from my perspective, not everyone else's.
What's the biggest misconception about you?
I just think this notion, I don't know where, I know where it comes from, but I think this notion of the silver spoon, I was born into great wealth and privilege, and it's quite the contrary. And I'm not trying, it's not a racial alger story. I'm not trying to over romanticize a contra narrative, but it's remarkable how that perception has dominated so much of the conversation that even my friends have about me. They don't know much about me. And so just for the record, setting it straight for my kids and grandkids, I'm going to be pushing back.
Yeah, but see, you know what his dad did for a living when he was a kid and growing up poor? His dad was the personal attorney to the Getty families in California and their billions and billions and billions of dollars of oil money. Yeah, I mean, not even Gavin Newsom's friends are buying the fact that he was poor. And he's got to set the record straight on that. After all, I can't have people thinking I was like Donald Trump. Personally, I care less he grew up rich. Just don't lie. Don't be disingenuous. Even lies about his own kids. When he was going to have Charlie Kirk on his podcast, and he took some flack from the left over that, he was telling Charlie on that podcast, you know, my kid is a super fan. And then about a month later, when he's being interviewed by CNN, no, I never said that.
Last night, trying to put my son to bed, he's like, no, Dad, what time? What time's Charlie going to be here? What time? And I'm like, dude, you're in school tomorrow. He's 13. He's like, no. This morning, wakes up at 6 something. He's like, I'm coming. I'm like, he literally would not leave the house.
Did you let him take off school?
No, he did. Of course not. He's not here for a good reason. But the point is,
you canceled school for like 2 years. One day.
The point is the point, which is you are making a damn dent.
A few moments later.
Your son, obviously a fan of Charlie Kirk. What was the conversation like between you and your son after Charlie Kirk was assassinated?
Well, he called me, I don't know how he got a phone, but he called me from school that day, really alarmed. And all his friends were around the phone that wanted me to somehow express or understand what was going on. He wanted to know if he was dead. He wasn't a fan of him as much as he was familiar with him. And it was very revelatory for me because he's also out there. My son is 11, 12 years old. He's sitting there talking to me about not just Charlie Kirk, but folks like Andrew Tate. And he's, sort of beyond Joe Rogan, in many ways, sort of Facebook in so many respects of sort of this novelty of the pod, manosphere, et cetera.
Even with the video evidence, he just lies through his teeth. Remember, the guy who made California an absolute lockdown prison while he and his friends enjoyed life as normal and arrested people for walking by themselves on the beach. That's Gavin Newsom. Do as I say, not as I do. Believe whatever narrative I'm telling you in the moment. It will change later, but that's okay. I'm not lying. You just can't keep up.